G'day everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing another light review, this time a light by Weeylite with the very cool name of the Ninja 200. So I've had this light for a while now and I've been using it in a variety of applications. I've been trying to get this video out for quite a while as well, but every time I try to do it, something pops up work-wise, family-wise, or weather-wise. We're at the start of summer here in Queensland, Australia, and we're getting storms and rain every second day. So, as a matter of fact, it's raining right now, so hopefully the rain on the roof isn't too annoying for you guys. If you're in the market for one of these little LED lights, I'm sure you've probably seen that there's quite a few popping up on the market recently. Brands like Godox and Aperture, obviously the better known brands, but Weeylite's popping up with some great little products as well. So you may not be familiar with the Weeylite brand, but you've probably heard of their parent company, Viltrox. Viltrox have been making camera lenses for quite a while, especially for the Fuji system and Sony system. They are quite well known. And now they are branching out into LED lights. They currently have a Ninja 300 and a Ninja 400 in their range, as well as the 200. The 200 being the 60 watt second bicolor. The 300 is an 80 watt, and the 400 is a 150 watt bigger studio unit, which uses a standard Bowens mount, whereas the 200 and 300 use a proprietary mount for their accessories. So full disclaimer, Viltrox did send me this light to test out. However, they're not paying me for this video and they're not reviewing the video before I upload it. So just like those other ones, this unit has the option of being AC powered or battery powered. It does use the standard Sony NPF 970 batteries and requires 2 of them to run. So the main thing that sets this light apart from some of its competitors is the fact that the batteries can mount on the plate right on the side of the unit there, which makes it quite a nice little compact setup. If you have a look at the Godox and even the Aperture units, they require a handle which the batteries mount to the handle itself. So it's not quite as compact as this little setup here. So before I get too much further into the pros and cons about this light, let's have a look at some of the features. First of all, when using it as a battery powered unit, there is a little switch in between the battery mount here which says in and out. Flick it to in when you are trying to charge up the batteries when it's mounted to the plate, and flick it down to out when you're wanting it to power the actual unit. So on the back we've got a main control dial, and you can see we've got a percentage power output as well as degrees Kelvin underneath that. To switch between the two, you just need to press that main dial in, and then you can adjust the bicolor setting, and the color temperature ranges from 2800 all the way up to 8500, which is quite a high amount for this sort of light. Underneath the main dimmer switch is your on-off button. Next to that on the left is the menu, which allows you to jump into your special effects modes. There is a USB socket for upgrading the unit with firmware, and then the main input for your power. So you can either plug the battery plate in directly into the back here, or the supplied AC power can actually plug into that area as well. So the easiest way to control the unit is going to be actually via your mobile device using the free app. So the app gives you all the controls that you can access via the unit, but laid out in a much easier way to navigate. So we've got the on-off button at the top, and we've got our power control here, color temperature control here. So as well as the color temperature slider control, you've also got presets here for tungsten, fluorescent, daylight, flash, cloudy, shade, your degrees Kelvin, and also for custom. So to jump into your scene mode, all you have to do is hit the scene button, and then all your scenes are listed there. You've got options of slow, normal, and fast paced. Makes it very simple to set up. All your scenes are listed there, along with options for adjusting the curve and a number of different things. There is also some options down here for HSI for controlling other RGB lights. Obviously you're not going to be able to use those with the Ninja 200. So as you can see, you've also got options for changing the channel. So apart from channel control, you've also got group control, A, B, C, D, E and F, so you can add your lights, if you've got multiple lights, into different groups and then control them individually. So currently on the Weeylite store, there's a number of different options in the way you can purchase this light. The first one is the standard pack, which is actually only available for a limited time. So by the time you watch this video, it may not be available. But that it just includes the light itself, and normally retails for around $235 US. The next kit, it comes with the battery carrier, but is not supplied with batteries, so you have to purchase them separately, and that's around $260. The next kit is with the battery carrier and the Bowens adapter and handle. Now that's the kit that I got supplied. And the final kit, which comes with the case, battery carrier, the handle, a remote controller, and also a softbox which attaches directly to the unit, so it doesn't come supplied with the Bowens mount adapter. So this is the unit with the handle attached. It's quite a nice little compact setup with the handle. The handle is quite small, and as I mentioned before, with the batteries mounted to the side of the unit, it makes it for a very easy and small, unobtrusive little setup. One thing I would have liked to have seen is the ability to attach an umbrella directly to the handle or the bracket itself. There's no provision in the reflector or the unit itself to actually mount an umbrella. So you do need to use the Bowens mount adapter, which has the umbrella socket in it. And that makes it a little bit more cumbersome to use. So I guess ideally for the run and gun system, if you're just hand holding like this, the softbox that they make to fit directly onto this unit would be the best way to go. So this is the Bowens mount adapter that they supply. And I'll be perfectly honest, I wasn't too impressed with it. It's extremely lightweight and flimsy and made pretty much entirely from plastic, except for the little umbrella socket. To fit it onto the unit, you've got these little lugs and they're made from plastic. So I wouldn't recommend putting any really heavy light modifiers using this Bowens adapter. It does come supplied with this little stand mount so that you can actually mount the flash with this adapter to the stand and balance the weight a little bit more, but honestly the bracket and the mount that comes with the unit attached to the light is made completely of metal, and it's a much stronger unit. So again, be very, very careful just with the weight of the modifier that you're using. So the first thing I did when I got the light was just to test the light output, and using my trusty old Sconic light meter, I wanted to see what sort of light it would output at a distance of 1 meter, so just so I could compare that to some of the other lights that I have. The maximum output was as expected for a 60-watt light, but what I did find at its lowest output was that unfortunately there is only about 1.5 stops difference between full output and minimum output, which is a very small range. So when I was doing my light measurements, I was using 800 ISO 1/60th of a second, and 1% gave me an output of f11.2. And it wasn't until I got to 25% that I saw an increase of up to f13. And then 60% gave me f16, 100% gave me f19.1. So one of my go-to modifiers on these little LED lights is this 65cm umbrella style softbox. I use that quite often for portraiture with the grid in the front and the 2 levels of diffusion. It's an X-Lite brand which is available here in Australia through a company called KL Australia. They distribute a large range of photographic product here. So it's probably very, very similar to a number of other brands. It's a pretty common style of modifier. So I used this setup recently on a shoot with the gorgeous Maddie, and I'll share some of the behind the scenes of that shoot with you here now. Typically I would use the Aperture 120D for a lighting setup like this, and I was keen to see how the 60-watt light would compare. And interestingly, I found that I got a very similar output. I'm quite used to shooting at around 800 or 1000 ISO, 125th of a second at f2.8, and that's what I was able to achieve with this 60-watt light using this same modifier. So for this shoot, Maddie had a stunning red dress. So I built this little set using a hand-painted canvas background that I made myself some years ago, some old moving boxes and an old ladder. So the light that's been lighting me for this entire video has been the original Aperture 120D with the Light Dome Mark II. So I'm just going to switch that off, and I'm just going to use the light from this setup right here, just so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so now I've switched out the Aperture 120D with the Light Dome, and now I'm using the Ninja 200 up here with the smaller 65cm little softbox, and I've taken the grid out. So it's in a similar position to where the Aperture was mounted just a few minutes ago. And as you can see, the light spread is probably not quite as much as from the Aperture Light Dome, because obviously that's a much larger softbox, but it's still giving me a very, very nice light. So the Ninja 200 is now set to 70% output with a color temperature setting of 5600, which is basically the same settings as what the Aperture 120D was set to. So the settings on the Fuji X-T3, which I'm using to record this, set to 800 ISO, 1/50th of a second at f4. So that gives you an idea of what sort of output this light can give you at 70%. All right, so in conclusion, would I recommend this light? Yes, I think I would. So if you aren't too worried about the relatively high minimum output this light produces compared to some of its competitors, and you're also pretty careful with the balance adapter, considering that it is made fully of plastic, then I think this light is a pretty good buy for the price. As I mentioned, I really loved how compact it is when used with the batteries. And I think just having a battery powered light in your kit is a very good thing to have. For those times where you want to hide it in your frame and you don't want cables running through your scene, it's really handy for those situations. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got some valuable information from this video. If you do like the content that I provide, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. That really, really helps me. I've popped some information in the description below for where you can purchase this light if you are interested. Thank you once again for watching, and until I see you in the next video, ciao for now.